A quiet Kansas community has been left in shock after a horrific family shooting claimed 6 lives. Authorities in Winfield are investigating what they describe as a murder-suicide inside a home near West 9th Avenue and Stewart Street. 5 members of one family were killed, and the man authorities identify as the shooter is also dead. The suspect has been identified as 53-year-old Ronald Williams Sr. of Winfield, Kansas. The victims were his wife, 44-year-old Kelly George, and their 4 children, 9-year-old Carol Williams, 7-year-old Ronald Williams, 5-year-old Sarah Williams, and 3-year-old Kelly Mae G. Williams. The youngest victim was just 3 years old. 3 girls and 1 boy were among the children killed. The tragedy unfolded early Tuesday morning. At around 8:50 a.m., police received a disturbing 911 call from the residents. According to investigators, Williams Sr. called authorities and warned that he was going to shoot himself. But the caller allegedly also told police that he had already killed other members of his family. That call immediately triggered a police response.
Obviously, this is a very tragic day in our community. At approximately 8:50 a.m., our officers received a 911 call from a male individual who stated that he had killed his entire family and he was getting ready to kill himself. Fortunately, officers were in the area working another incident and responded pretty much immediately. First officer on scene was approaching the house when they heard a single gunshot. At that point, they retreated. There was no other indication of any other loss of life, and so standard protocol was to set up a perimeter and start working the incident as a barricade situation. At approximately 10:57 a.m., after enough backup and other methods had been exhausted, the decision was made to attempt to breach the front door just to see if they could see inside what was occurring. Immediately, the door was breached and officers called for assistance and medical. There inside, they located 6 individuals deceased. Of those 6, included 1 male suspect, 1 female resident, and a total of 4 children, ages 3 to 9. At this time, due to the size and scope, the decision was made to call the Kansas Bureau of Investigations for assistance. They responded, and at that time, we started just coordinated efforts to work through the scene.
And officers were able to reach the area quickly because they were already nearby, dealing with another incident. As the first officer approached the house, something terrifying happened. Police say the officer heard a single gunshot coming from inside the residence. The officer immediately retreated. Authorities then treated the situation as a potential barricade and established a perimeter around the property. The neighborhood was effectively locked down as officers tried to determine exactly what was happening inside. The situation remained extremely tense. Police had to consider the possibility that the suspect was still alive, armed, and capable of harming anyone who approached the house. Eventually, authorities made the decision to breach the residence. When officers entered the home, they discovered 6 people dead, 5 victims, and the suspected shooter. Investigators say Williams Sr. died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities have not indicated that anyone else was involved, and officials have stressed that there is no ongoing threat to the wider public. The deaths of the children have sent shockwaves through Winfield, a city of roughly 12,000 people in south-central Kansas. The investigation is now focused on one of the biggest unanswered questions in the case. Why? Authorities have not yet established a clear motive for the killings, but investigators say there were warning signs in the days and weeks leading up to the tragedy. Police have acknowledged previous contact with Williams over what they described as erratic behavior. Investigators are now speaking with neighbors and reviewing those earlier incidents to determine whether they provide clues about what happened inside the home. According to police, there had been reports involving Williams yelling at children and other confrontational behavior. There were also reports involving firearms being fired, but authorities have stressed that while Williams had displayed troubling behavior, there was nothing that they say clearly indicated the scale of violence that was about to unfold. That point is now central to the investigation. Williams also had a criminal history. Authorities and local reports say he was a registered sex offender. Court records reportedly show a history involving multiple criminal cases over the years. Those records include charges involving drugs, assault and battery, burglary and kidnapping, among other offenses. Reports also indicate that some of his criminal cases stretched back decades. Investigators are now examining that history as part of the broader effort to understand the suspect and what may have led to Tuesday's killings. But officials have cautioned against assuming that his previous record alone explains what happened. The motive remains unknown, and investigators are still working to establish a complete timeline. Investigators from the Kansas Bureau of Investigation have joined Winfield Police in processing the scene. The KBI's crime scene response team was brought in to collect evidence and document what happened inside the residence. Investigators are expected to examine the physical evidence, review the 911 call, speak with neighbors and people who knew the family, and reconstruct the final movements of the victims and the suspect. They will also be looking at any previous police contacts involving Williams. Neighbors may provide some of the most important information. Authorities say they are already speaking with people in the surrounding area about Williams' behavior and any incidents they may have witnessed. Investigators are particularly interested in determining whether there was an escalation in his behavior before Tuesday morning. For now, officials are urging people not to speculate about the motive. Police say there is no continuing danger to the public, and investigators are left piecing together the final hours of 6 people whose lives ended in a devastating act of violence.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.